Go through this fencing trailer that I built. It's very specifically for barbed wire, and the reasons why I think it's cool, what it does to help us, and being as efficient as possible building fence. And this is pretty close to being there, I think. So this is a custom, I built the trailer, 6x12, single 7,000 pound axle. That's the reason it has this neck. You can get your truck way underneath it for working in tight areas, and you're able to do that because you only have one set of tires. You can't do that if you have tandem axles because you'll pull tires off of rams, bend stuff, but single 7K, so you can get more than 90 degrees under this trailer and work in some really tight spaces to turn around. Rack here, so as you're loading your T-posts, you're not risking turning stuff around, hitting the bed of your truck or anything. Up here we've got the, I guess you would call it a crane mechanism. It runs off the air compressor and this switch over here. So whenever you are building fence, this arm extends out about 3 feet, so it gets the truck and trailer off of your guide wire where you're not worried about getting into it. Your post bounder hangs off of that boat winch, so you have some adjustability built in there. If you're driving 6-foot post, you'll have to lower it down some. If you're driving 6.5 foot, you'll have to raise it up some. If you're driving 5-foot post, you've got to lower it a lot. So the way that works, there's a pin on that side. You pull that out, slide it out. There's another hole. It'll snap in. Get everything hung up here. Get your compressor started. Pretty simple. Up right here, and I usually have this zip tied right here. It looks like my zip ties broke. But push up, it picks it up for you. Load your T-post this way. You do have to have a set of slings, and I've got those somewhere right here. So you have to pick them up from the side instead of normally your T-posts run this way. You can come in with your forks underneath and pick them up. They don't fit here, so you have to come in this way, run sling straps underneath, pick them up, and set them in here, which is kind of nice. Half of them are backwards because that's just the way they stack them. But you grab one, stand it up into your pounder, hold it there, drop your pounder down enough where it's contained but doesn't have the weight. Get the post where you want it poking in the ground. Go ahead and drop your pounder all the way down, drive it in. Once it's done, push up, picks up, and you're on to the next one. This CB antenna acts as your marker because this trailer has a built-in post measuring system. So as you're driving along, right here is about where your pounder hangs, and you just put your post right even with this tip, and that controls, make sure that you're consistently putting your post in the same place relative to the marking system. Another rack here to protect your air compressor and everything back here. It does have a built-in mount for the pipeliner's cloud. That 8-foot one that I have works pretty well. It doesn't get into the crane up here at all. You do have to be a little careful as you're standing stuff up that you don't catch it, but it's worth it to have the shade while you're driving posts. A piece of pipe welded here to carry your manual post driver. I just have this taped up because the truck was making a noise and I was trying to find where the knocking was. This was not it. A little ammo can here for keeping your various pliers and stuff that you want to have with you all the time. Eagle 35 CFM air compressor with the Honda motor. This is about the smallest you can go if you want to drive pipe. You can outrun this compressor driving pipe. You probably get a good 30 seconds of drive time and then let it catch up for 10 to 15 seconds and then keep driving, and that cycle just repeats. This thing doesn't sweat at all driving T-posts, so it's kind of a nice balance. You get all the air you need whenever you're driving T-posts, and you can still effectively drive pipe. It would be a little better if you had 70 CFM, but for the money, this is the best value in my opinion. Dedicated battery for it, so the motor doesn't have a generator on it, so you do have to charge the battery every now and then, but you'd be surprised at how infrequently you have to. 50-foot hose reel, so that is used for whenever you need to walk off somewhere and drive posts not from the crane. So if you're going to be driving your H-brace post with this pounder, you can run that out, drive your posts, throw on one of these extensions, do whatever you need to do there, and then it's as simple as swapping to that green hose. I didn't get a custom hose built for this yet, but that green hose, you just plug it in, and that's what runs your pounder whenever it's on the crane. You just plug it into the reel is how I've been running, and then if you need to run somewhere else, you just unplug that one and plug in an extension or pull it out. Regulated air, because that's important. Whenever I first got this compressor, it builds 175 pounds. It was breaking the strikers in the pounder because it's meant to run at between 90 to 110 is the max. I run at about 100, so you have the ability to control that. The second little pony hose there runs up to the crane. That's what operates your pneumatic cylinder that does the lifting, and it has its own independent valve, so you can shut it off in case something goes wrong up there. So moving back here, we've got enough room for a pallet, so you can load partial pallets of barbed wire using equipment. You're not having to pick them up and stack them on. You can just grab the skid steer, set them on here. The 7,000 pound axle should allow you to put 2 bundles of T-posts on the front, half a pallet of wire, and you're pretty well stocked for a little bit. Back here, we've got these drop-in wire unrolling stakes. So if you need the trailer to be more flatbed, you can just pull these off, throw them in the truck. Whenever you're ready to unroll wire, drop them in. And it makes it a little easier to load too. You pull these out, grab your wire, throw it up here just anywhere. You can look down it, get it pretty centered, drop this in your spool, and you're off. This is the measuring system. So we've got a pin that locks it in under here, as well as a set screw. So whenever you get ready to pull this out, you'll loosen this set screw, lock out this pin. This slides out. There is a hole pre-drilled in it for 15-foot post spacing, and you can put in other holes if you want to. But this slides out. This mechanism with all these wires then slips onto this pipe. This bolt comes out and it slips on. You put this bolt back in. And the way this works, there's some springs. I need to put them in here. This is a spring-loaded arm, so it kind of sticks out like this. As you come along, you've driven that T-post, you start pulling forward relative to the trailer. The post is doing this. It catches this arm and opens it up. There's 2 limit switches on that arm. So as you're getting close to where you want your post driven, it'll light this bottom row of lights in orange. That tells your driver to, hey, you're getting to be about 6 to 8 inches away from where you're going to stop. Be prepared. Once you hit the 15-foot mark, this top row illuminates and they know to stop. And then once they're stopped, you drive your post. Once you're done driving, got the post driver out of the way, lift it up, they drive forward. This opens up past the post and then returns to a ready position for your next post. The pounder, the T-post adapter, I welded a receiver on for, I believe it's 3/4 inch PVC, and that will be your post depth. So it's got a sleeve and a set screw. You figure out where you want your post set, where your pounder is in the down position whenever it's got the T-post driven to the right height. Set your PVC pipe guide there, and as you're driving, you just drive until that PVC pipe touches the ground and you're done. So your guy driving the T-post doesn't have to carry a marker stick with him for height. He's not having to drag something along for spacing. You're not having to run ahead with a piece of PVC pipe at the right length and a can of spray paint marking your wire. You're not having to go along and spray pre-scattered T-posts. It's all just set your H-braces, pull your guide wire, get it straight, and then you can drive T-posts. It might take a little adapting depending on how far apart your T-posts are. You might have to come out here somewhere with something to keep your wire off of the measuring arm. But in theory, it was built so that you could unroll wire while you're driving T-posts. So like I said, you go through, set your H-braces, pull your guide wire, get it straight, and then you make one trip down the fence, driving T-post, unrolling wire, stretch, come back and tie. It's not, so once you have your guide wire down, it's not a trip measuring, painting the ground, coming through, scattering T-posts, coming through with the skid steer, driving T-posts, coming through, unrolling wire, stretching, so on. This was intended to minimize the number of trips that you make up and down the fence and be the most efficient way to build barbed wire possible. Feels good to be champions.